Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another film review. Tonight we're doing something a little bit different, a non-horror film. We're doing a sort of art house kind of a black comedy sort of thriller film. We're looking at Down by Law. This was shot in the 80s, I believe, and it's shot in black and white, and it stars the incredible Tom Waits. And Tom plays a sort of a DJ. He's supposed to be like a DJ, and he's sort of like, yeah, he's on his last sort of legs. He's got drink problems. He's got problems with his girlfriend and all this sort of thing, and it's all based in New Orleans. And it's sort of like based in probably the 19 sort of 40s and that sort of time, that sort of era. And it's he's having problems with his girlfriend. She's throwing all of his clothes and his records out of the window, and he's just sitting on the bed doing all this that Tom Waits does, and he's so cool, and he's just letting her get on with it, throwing her little fit and stuff. And then she sort of tries to sort of like saying, you're a good DJ and all this, you need to get good work and all this. And he's not really listening. And then she threatens to throw his shoes out, and he doesn't want her to throw his shoes out. He wears these sort of black patent leather shoes with like silver buckles, and the sort of winkle picked with the sort of silver plated fronts, and to him they're the coolest thing in the world. And so they all get sort of thrown out on the street, and we did see Tom then on the street, sort of with all of his records and debris on the road, with his clothes and stuff, and he's down on his luck, so he sits on the edge of the road and kicks his shoes off and puts on his favourite shoes and shines them. It's so cool. It's really, really cool. And then we cut to another guy who's like, I think he's like a local sort of pimp, and he's at home with his girlfriend, this black woman, and they're in bed and this sort of thing, and all these sort of crazy things going on. So this is our another main character of the film that we meet in the film. I believe his name's John in the film, and he he's at home, and his black girlfriend's really going off, sort of like talking, yakking, and he goes, "You can have talk, babe," you know what I mean, and all this sort of thing. And he's being all cool, and he's sitting there counting his money, and he's got like a gun on the table, and he's supposed to be like a local pimp. And then some guy comes into his house, some big guy comes into his house, and he's apologising. He's obviously done something wrong to this guy, and he's obviously fearsome of this pimp guy. And he says, "Oh, let me make it up to you. I'm so sorry. I've got a great present for you. I've got, a new girl for you. She's over the hotel over there, a new girl. She's Caucasian, she's beautiful and all this. You won't regret it," and all this sort of thing. "I just want to make it up to you, whatever." Well, I don't know what's gone on, but he says, "Okay, well, I'll go over and see you, but if you're lying, then, I'm going to kick your ass," sort of thing. So he sort of goes out, and he sort of walks through the streets of New Orleans, and he meets up with another sort of pimp, and they sort of bond, and it's kind of sort of sleazy, and in the background there's all this sort of Tom Waits style sort of jazz music playing with sort of like trumpets and that, and there are songs in there by Tom Waits as well, which is amazing. And then he goes up to see this girl in the room. So he goes to this hotel, and he goes in and he starts talking to her, making all these promises, work for me and I'll look after you, you get jewelry, you get everything and all this sort of thing. I'll promise you that, I'll look after you, you'll be protected, you'll get good money and all this. We haven't seen it yet, because all we see is her laying on the bed and the lights are off and stuff. And then the door bursts open and 3 police officers burst in. And he goes, what the hell are you doing? You know, he says, I'm here with my girlfriend. And so they turn the light on, and it's like a young girl. She must be about sort of like 9 or 10 or something like that, that's in the bed. So they've got hold of him, and they've taken him out to jail. So he's been set up, you know, so he's been set up and gone. And then we join Tom again. Now he plays a character called Jack in this, and he's sitting outside still, feeling sorry for himself, singing to himself. He's a bit worse for wear and a bit drunk now because he's been drinking like his whiskey, and he's sitting outside and he's approached by this other guy called Tom, who's like a foreigner, and he tells him to buzz off, and this Tom goes, oh, thank you, good, and he's writing down buzz off as a new word to sort of like say and stuff. And so I think that's the third character in the film. He goes off, and then Tom's approached by this other crook. There seems to be a lot of crooks in this area, and he's asking Tom to do a job for him. What he wants him to do is drive this car from one edge of the town to the other for $1,000. He says, I'll give you half now and half later. So Tom's really, really reluctant and keeps saying, no, I'm not doing that. Not for that money, you know. And he goes, give me the money up front, then maybe I'll think about it. I might do it, think about it. So he's bargaining with this crook, and oh, I'll give you $750 now, and give you $250 after the job. And he said, no, well. Anyway, so finally he agrees to give Tom the money and the keys to the car. And then we see Tom in the car, and he's driving through the streets of New Orleans, and it's a great scene because he's talking to himself as he's doing like he's a radio DJ, and he's got such a cool voice. If you know Tom Waits, he's got this amazing sort of really gravelly voice, and it's fantastic. And he's talking to like a DJ. Anyway, he's making his way through the town with his car, and then the police start following him and flashing lights and stuff like that. And so he pulls over with the police, and they come out with their guns, tell him to get out the car. So they put him on the bonnet, and Tom's giving him a bit of lip back, and he says, well, I've done nothing, and stuff like that. So they handcuff him, and then they go to the boot, and they open the boot, and there's a body in the back of the car. So it's another setup. So Tom's been set up now, and he's on his way to jail. And then we join him in jail. And that's where our characters meet, and that's where I'm going to end our little synopsis. Because the film turns into then about these 3 characters getting to know each other and planning a breakout. And it's an amazing film. It's a real sort of dark black comedy sort of film, and it's really, really cool. And that's what I've got to say. What I think about the film, it's amazing. It's an amazing film. It's a wonderful, wonderful film, and it's so sort of well crafted. And the characters, although they're sort of, you know, they're sort of losers, but you kind of like them and you kind of feel for them, and you really want them to get out of this situation because they've been set up. And so it's one of those sort of films where the bad guy is the good guy, if you like. The pluses of this edition, as you can see, it looks sensational on Blu-ray. And I think they've done the right thing by shooting this in black and white. It gives you that sort of grimy, dirty sort of New Orleans, Memphis sort of feel to the film, you know, with a sort of jazzy, sleazy sort of music background and a few songs of Tom Waits in there, and it's really, really well done. The acting's superb. Tom is incredible in this film. He's got such a screen presence. Tom Waits has been in a few films. He's more renowned for his being a singer. He's a Grammy Award winning singer, and he's done the whole. He's been around since the 70s, 80s, 90s, and he's still going today, still making albums. So he's absolutely fantastic, and he's amazing in this film. It's well casted. The story is quite funny and cool. The script, I like the script because it's not like a normal script. It's almost like it's just like normal sort of jibber jabber. It's not like a planned script almost. You just feel like it's sort of like, well, yeah, you're angry with Tom, so you do this, you do that, and say what you want to say. It just feels like that. And it's so beautifully shot. The photography in this is spot on. It's right up my street. It's a real sort of arty kind of sort of lighting, and the scenes are all so carefully planned that it just looks amazing. Like there's a scene when he's in the prison cell, and Tom's just sort of like laying there like that, and on the table there's like a set of cards, a dish with a bar of soap on it, and a toothbrush, and he's sort of sitting there with all this scratched wall behind him and stuff. I just think it's just so well planned and looks so cool. And Tom's just laying there all sort of laid back and stuff. It's just amazing. I'm going to score the film incredible watch and give it a 10 out of 10. I love this film. I loved it when I first saw it. I went to see this because I was a huge Tom Waits fan. I think I went to the cinema to see it, and I didn't straight away fall in love with it. But then when it came out on VHS, I got an next rental copy. I used to collect everything with Tom Waits in it, all these sort of CDs, videos, and vinyls. I used to collect a lot, and I love Tom Waits, so I'd collect anything with him in it. And I just fell in love with this film over the years, and now it's just fantastic. It holds up today. It's just so cool. It's not overly violent. It's just really well shot, and it just looks so cool. And some of the scenes are so funny, and Tom is so cool and so funny in it. It's just really cool. Like when he's driving this car through the streets of New Orleans, he's like hanging out the window going to all the girls. Yeah, you've got a girl. You know, it's just been his normal Tom Waits stuff. It's sort of it's so cool. It's just brilliant. Down by Law, 10 out of 10. Any of you guys seen this film? If you haven't, see it. It's got a very film noir feel to it. It's like an old sort of sleazy gangstery sort of film, and it just plays out amazingly. It's so well acted, and it's so funny, and you got to see if they manage to break out of jail. It's just such a cool film. Guys, till my next video, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.